Boy, who knows what that was about? You go through and you set all this stuff up and you get everything to work, and then you go and launch, and then sound doesn't work. Sound doesn't work. Spend all this time uh, making sure it works, making sure the sound works, making sure we have different cameras, making sure all of it works as expected, making sure. And then you turn it on and the sound doesn't work. Well, we'll have to keep an eye on that to make sure the sound works. Oh boy, what a thing. Anyways, we are practicing Christian disciplines. Christian disciplines are things that people have done throughout the centuries, throughout the millennia, to grow closer to God. And those disciplines look like all sorts of different activities, from things like Bible studies and different ways of doing Bible studies. We've done some of those. We've done Lectio Divina as we went through Proverbs. We've done memorization with Psalms. We've done Lectio Divina with the Easter story. We did a reading with the Proverbs. Christian disciplines, things people do to grow closer to God. We talked about Sabbath. We talked about a number of things. And right now, we're talking about this thing called practicing the presence of God. That is kind of hard for us to do together on a stream, but it is a Christian discipline and it is something that we wanted to talk about. So the way we're talking about it is using this book, The Practice of the Presence of God by Brother Lawrence. Now, this book, I was just looking at this book recently, today, and learning about specifically this copy. This copy is made by Whittaker House, and Whittaker House has updated the language to help us understand it better. It's paraphrased it to help us understand it better. It's combined some things. It's made it more modern. Because this is copyrighted, I can't really just read it to you because it's copyrighted. Uh, we can read portions of it and discuss those portions, and we will. But as I was trying to compare this version to the 300-year-old public domain version, I'm reading the first letter, and the first letter is not the public domain first letter, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. And it turns out, like, the first letter that we're going to read today in this one, this version, is actually the fourth letter in the public domain one. So if you are following along and you have a different version, it could be tricky. But we'll still talk about the content. It's the same content throughout all the books, just maybe in a different order. It talked about how the book is put together, and some have this portion, some don't have that portion. That the book is both his letters that he wrote and also some of his friends who had thoughts about him that wrote letters and wrote ideas. And we read those already. Those were the conversations 1 through 4 that we read in the beginning. Okay, practicing the presence of God. Brother Lawrence's discussion about practicing the presence of God in this book is the idea that you are constantly in the presence of God in everything you do. A couple of things that we've read so far that I like and I just think about on a regular basis um, uh, is his discussion about when I'm trying to find where it is, that when he sins, here it is. It is in the second conversation. Whenever he considered doing some good deed, he always consulted God about it, saying, Lord, I will never be able to do that if you don't help me. Immediately, he would be given more than enough strength. When he sinned, he confessed it to God with these words, I can do nothing better without you. Please keep me from falling and correct the mistakes I make. After that, he did not feel guilty about the sin. His discussions of a monk who has been following God, of what it looks like, the boldness of God, I can do no better without you. God, I need strength to be able to do what you want me to do. Be with me as I do these things. Uh, it's not my normal way of life to act that way, think that way, speak that way. Um, But it's encouraging to be going through this and going, this is Brother Lawrence's way. And I've known people who were that way. And okay, the first letter, we're going to read a few excerpts from the first letter, more than a few. In the first discussion, or in the first letter, he says this: for more than 40 years, this brother's principle, this brother, it's thought that he was so humble that he didn't want to talk about himself this way. So it's kind of agreed upon that he talks about a brother and that the brother does this, meaning himself. For more than 40 years, this brother's principal endeavor has been to stay as close as possible to God, doing, saying, and thinking nothing that might displease him. He has no reason for doing this except to show his gratitude for God's pure love, and because God deserves infinitely more than that, anyways. It stuck out to me just as this: do you go through your day? Do I go through my day doing, saying, and thinking nothing that might displease him, meaning God? I mean, no, I don't. Do you? Do we watch sports? Do we drive our cars? Do we interact with people? Do we interact with politics? Do we do things and go, boy, I wouldn't want to do anything or think anything or say anything that displeases God? No. I mean, I don't, maybe you do. I don't want to put my failings on you. Um, it was just a thing that stuck out. He wants to do nothing. And he has no reason for this. He goes, he has no reason for doing this except to show his gratitude for God's pure love and because God deserves infinitely more, anyways. It's not because he has to, it's because he wants to. That's the life he wants to live for God. Another thing that stuck out from a previous conversation in the first 4 conversations of the book was when he told his friend he wasn't even sure of salvation. He wasn't even sure that he would be saved. And he found that to be a good thing because then he could love God and do things for God just because of his love of God and not because of salvation, not because of being saved, not because of going to heaven, but just because he loved God. He could do that without expectation of reward. Next part. If he sometimes strays from this divine presence, God immediately recalls him by communicating with him through the Holy Spirit. This often happens to him when he is busiest with his work. Who can't relate to that? He responds faithfully to God's calling, either by offering his heart to God, by a tender, loving look, or by some affectionate words, such as, "My God, I am all yours. Do what you will with me." Then it is almost as if this God of love returns to his soul to rest again, satisfied with these few words. Uh, Years ago, I had someone talk to me about creating space for God. And one of these things was emptying your mind. And he goes, in time, you will find that your mind is not empty. In time, you will find that your mind actually is kind of full. And so, what can you do about that? When your mind starts to wander, he goes, he uses a word to bring him back. Uh, the word was beloved. Feel free to use that if you're in some time of silence and solitude. Another practice we've done earlier, another Christian discipline we've done earlier. Beloved. And then he would bring himself back to being silence, solitude, not thinking, listening, waiting for God to speak. I see that in Brother Lawrence in this discussion. That as Brother Lawrence goes about his day and he finds himself in work, he finds himself doing what he's doing, not having the acknowledgement of God. He goes, "Oh my God, I am all yours. Do what you will with me." And then he goes, in that moment, it's as though God comes back and gives his soul rest again. Next, a little bit of calling us out, maybe. He often calls men blind, complaining that we are content with too little. God has infinite treasures to give us, he says. Why should we be satisfied with a brief moment of worship? I don't have a thought except being called out. Like, do we go to church on Sundays and that is our time with God? Do we have small group during the week and that is our time with God? Do we pray in the morning, pray before meals? Do we do good works through the day? Do we? And he's going like, you need to do that all day long, every day. Uh, he calls men blind, complaining that we are content with too little. God has infinite treasures to give us, he says. Why should we be satisfied with a brief moment of worship? And then the last part of the first letter. However, we must continuously walk in God's Spirit, since in the Spirit life, not to advance is to fall back. Uh, Another being called out by Brother Lawrence. That the goal is to move forward. You need to move forward in your faith. You need to move forward in this relationship, this practicing the presence of God. Because if you don't move forward, says Brother Lawrence, it's to fall back. Like there isn't that middle holding your ground stagnant. It's either you're moving forward or you're moving back. And so to end that first letter, coming to a close of that first letter. However, we must continuously walk in God's Spirit, since in the spirit life, not to advance is to fall back. That's letter one. There's so much. I wrote, if you're a highlighting kind of person, if you're someone that likes to highlight, you're going to highlight a lot of this book. I can't even show it to you, but this is the second letter. Like it's a page and a half. There's almost nothing to it. Easy to read. It cost like $5 and it was brought here. You should get yourself a copy. If you want to read the Old English, it's available online right now. You can go to wherever, Google it, and type the practice of the presence of God, public domain, available all over the place. Okay, second letter. Second letter, I had that one highlight. I already showed it to you. Don't zoom in on it. You're not supposed to see it. It's copywritten. Copyrighted? Yeah. I still believe that all spiritual life consists of practicing God's presence, and that anyone who practices it correctly will soon attain spiritual fulfillment. Like this dude, his whole take is practicing the presence of God. That will change everything. That'll change how you interact with neighbors. That'll change how you talk to your family. It'll change how you feel about politicians in the country. It'll change how you feel about others. It'll change how you feel about yourself. It'll change everything if you'll just acknowledge the presence of God in all that you do. I didn't highlight it, but here's the thing. He goes, if I were a preacher, I would preach nothing but practicing the presence of God. If I were to be responsible for guiding souls in the right direction, I would urge everyone to be aware of God's constant presence, if for no other reason than because his presence is a delight to our souls and spirit. Sold out on it. The more I read, the more I'm sold out on it. The more I read, the more I go, what will that look like for me to have that constant? How do I have that line of his that he goes, my God, I am all yours. Do what you will with me. When he finds himself outside of that presence of God, acknowledging that, how he steps back in. The letter ends with this: put your hand to the task. If you do it right, you will soon see the results. I will support you with my prayers, he says from 300 years ago. Please keep me in your prayers also, and in the prayers of your church. The first two letters, in a different order than normal, from Whittaker House. That is it for today, practicing the presence of God. We have more to go. We're on page 33 out of page 94. So we have a bit more to go, but we're a third of the way through. So that is it for today. I hope you like the book. I hope you're picking up the book. I hope you're reading along, because through the years and years I've been in ministry, people love this book. People talk about this book, and people want you to read it. And now I am one of those. I want you to read it too. Read it with me. Practicing the practice of the presence of God. We will see you Sunday.